she was introduced to many of us on RuPaul's Drag Race Season 8. And then she ended up going missing. Where has Betty been? That's all I've been saying. Her name is Acid Betty, and she is about to be exposed. How are you doing, Acid?
Exposed? I'm wearing my underwear then. Gosh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. You know, like, I literally, when I reached out to you, I was like, wait, I feel like Betty has been gone forever. Where have you been?
Well, I haven't been anywhere, but to not sound depressing or sad, the COVID and the deaths, to set it off, Chi-Chi and a few other people kind of really put me into a downspin. I kind of got really internalized and, I don't know, I just started thinking about my life and what am I doing. And so I kind of, as everyone's focused on myself, but I kind of was like focusing on myself and trying to figure out, what did I really want to do? But I mean, honestly, on the back end, I still was working for Werq the World and Boss Events. So I was still in the drag world doing all that. I just wasn't really pushing like the Acid Betty stuff. You know what I mean? And I did kind of disappear from social media. I know I did.
I was like, wait, where'd she go? Where'd she go? No, but it makes total sense because that's kind of like the exact same thing that happened to me over COVID. It's just like, I got beyond depressed. I ended up like, it was food galore. It was like Uber Eats. Let's go straight for that Uber Eats. Let's do whatever we need to do to not cook and to not take care of yourself because you're just in the moment. But I can't imagine that too, especially with, like you said, like the death of Chi-Chi and everything. I mean, that could only do so much. So
yeah, and that was also at the time when we were all in lockdown. So there was this whole, what do you do during the funeral? Not to get into the details and all that. So it was so intense. And Lady Red, and there's a few others I can list. And then if you just list the millions of people that died that year, it just kind of took a toll. And I feel like, our job is to kind of create a place to release and be happy and maybe some fantasy. And I just wasn't in the place to provide that, I don't think, for other people. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that makes sense. You have to, like you just said, take care of yourself first before you do anything else. You said fantasy. I would just like to tell you that when you dropped your fantasy song back after season 8, that was my song on the plane to Cancun one summer. And I was like, listening to it on repeat. I was like, I want you to be my fantasy. I was like, yes.
I was just singing that today, actually. That is so funny. When I played that on tour, at first they were like, what is that? I don't understand the song. And I'm like, that's cool. And then after they heard it like 3 to 4 times, they were all singing it on the bus. They couldn't get out of their heads. And they were like, we get it now. We get it. We get the song.
Well, let's get into your life, because with Exposed, I always like to give a full rounded biographical account of your life.
Okay.
And from what I was reading, were you born and raised in New York, or were you born and raised somewhere else?
I was born and raised in California, in Riverside, California, the Inland Empire.
And how long were you there for?
Well, I was there until I went to college. And then I went to college in Orange County for a hot minute, and I realized that I hated it there. And so then I went to London, to Middlesex University, and that was where I kind of like the pop of myself came off, and that's where I really discovered myself. And then I came back to this country like with a big old gay rage, and it was like the whole new me. It was like, ask anyone. It was like this poor little sad, quiet little like boy left, and like this big old raging faggot came back.
Were you out before you left, or did you come out more when you were over there?
Well, I had a boyfriend before I left. I mean, I think I was probably playing closet or quiet for my mom and family, but I did do drag. My drag name at the time was Straight Kate. But I was like, I didn't realize that I was playing. I think I was trying to play with gender then, which as I still do now. Back then, it's not like that was that long ago, but we really weren't doing what we do now and talk about cisgender and all these things. So I think that's what I was trying to do without knowing that's what I was doing. Because I had different renditions of drag. I had Straight Kate, and then I had a character called Jasmine Fantastique, which again was like boy girl. And that was right before I moved to New York and created Acid Betty. And Acid Betty is kind of like the shadow of Jasmine Fantastic.
So Straight Kate and Jasmine Fantastic. Let me ask you: were they in line with Acid Betty? Like, would you be able to like pick them out as like the same family, or were you totally
Hell yeah.
different drag? Yeah.
Oh no, same. Oh no, same. Yeah, yeah. Straight Kate would be more of my character, Bitter Betty now, because she was like pierced lips and very extreme, like a bitter Cupid, like just a bitter lady. And Jasmine Fantastic, it was a Mohawk, and his tagline was "No war, just fuck," and that's very still. I actually repurchased that domain, and I might be doing some stuff with it. Because mind you, this is when the internet was invented. So I like a few like weeks ago, I went back in my history and I was like, I wonder what's going on with my domain because a porn site had purchased it after I let it go a few years ago. But I got it. I own it back now. Justfuck.com.
So you end up in New York, and is this when technically the birth of Acid Betty happened? Was that in New York?
Absolutely, yeah. You want
Did
me to
you
elaborate on
do you
that?
want no, no, no.
Oh.
I just want to know like what it was like New York nightlife wise. Like what was the years around there? Like was that 20 what?
So that was 2004.
Okay.
That was probably, so that's like 10 years after the major rage of Monster and Michael Alec and all that stuff. I would like the way I felt when I arrived in New York was it was kind of like the shadow of all that stuff. Limelight had just closed. They were going to reopen it. They did reopen it. I ended up working the VIP door of the new whatever Limelight. But it was kind of like a sad moment in New York, and I kind of felt like it was my duty to kind of bring back this whole nightlife monster dress up rage. So that's what I started doing, and more people ended up doing it, and then a few years later enter in RuPaul's Drag Race. So apparently it was a thing.
Yeah, apparently it was a thing. You did. You ended up on RuPaul's Drag Race season 8. And I will tell you that you were my favorite on season 8, and that is not me lying or me just trying to like get brownie points. You actually were, and I was texting my straight brother is 5 years younger than me, and he just got into Drag Race within the past year, and he was like, "What are you doing tonight?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm interviewing Acid Betty," and he was like, "Man, I really wish she would have stayed on longer. I really liked her." So
Yeah.
you that's how I felt too. I feel like your drag aesthetic was something that we had not seen on Drag Race yet. You were more in the like the club kid type area. You were very good at airbrushing your face and making like different monster and different types, and the drag was so, I will say it was ahead of its time for Drag Race.
Yeah.
It was something that was just so cool to look at and do. And on Drag Race, I know that you had said, or there was like a storyline that you were not getting booked in New York. Was that true?
No, that's Dorji's storyline. I mean, that was her storyline for me.
Yes.
Oh, no, no, no. Actually, at the time, I was the bitch. I was getting paid the most. I chose where I wanted to work, who I wanted to work with, and where I was working. And
Mm.
Thorgy wanted to be that girl. Thorgy was making nothing. I could tell you exactly where she was working and who she was complaining about. Um, yeah, no, not the case. Yeah, I was the top girl. I mean, I was on the cover of HX, Next Magazine. I was top 100. I was above Amanda Lepore. I was like the girl. Because also, mind you, this was after Project Runway. So Project Runway had hit, and that was the first time that America in a long time had seen drag on TV. And then add with what you said, there was a character like Acid Betty, which not only was a drag, but there was something that some people who'd seen drag had never seen this
Yeah.
before. So I had that going for me. Yeah, I was already working with Voss Events at the time. And so, drag queens get a little jealous and try to create storylines. Yeah, not true.
I'm gonna come back to Drag Race, but you said Project Runway, and you
Yeah.
were in Project Runway for the most infamous episode, I will say, because of RuPaul's look. RuPaul was on the episode that you were on, right? The you were a model,
Yes.
and
Uh-huh.
RuPaul in the big blonde, sandy blonde, dark, big wig with the white button down ass shirt.
Yeah, everything was like down. Everything was down.
Mm,
And the overhead lighting, yeah.
what did you think when you were there? Did you think like, oh, it's RuPaul, or did you think, what is this?
Well, I mean, if you watch this episode, because I just posted, so I watched it. It's funny. You can see RuPaul's doing what entertainers do. So she's like kissing up to everybody at that time. So she's like saying how wonderful I look, trying to sell everyone's look,
Yeah.
and that's how everyone was. So everyone was happy to see each other. Hey, girl, how are you? In between breaks, she would get up and we would talk. Um, but a few queens did say something about her makeup, and the story was that they wouldn't pay for Matthew and Zaldi, like her hair and makeup. So she just said, cool, I will let your guys, your people do me. You know what's good for TV. So she had their team doing the thing, but it wasn't the thing. It wasn't the thing. Also, this is before Drag Race. So she was trying to be fashion. So she had just a fashionable button shirt, probably Karl Lagerfeld. She had a human hair wig, which she doesn't even do now. Do you know what I mean? She's
Yeah.
trying to be very like, hey, middle America, I'm a woman, because this is before Drag Race. So she's trying to like, consume me. I'm a real woman. Hello, human hair. Yeah, but the lighting and makeup did not do her justice.
Oh, poor
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah. No.
Did she remember you at all from when you were on?
What do you mean? Did she reference it when I saw her in RuPaul's Drag Race?
Yes. Did she know at all? Did she like reference it or like know that you were on Project Runway?
Um, I can't be the first girl that you've interviewed from the TV show that's heard that she doesn't really talk to the girls.
No, no, she doesn't. Not at all. Wait, what are you talking
So,
about?
I mean, she asked me about some of the things I was wearing. We talked about some history things and like where I've seen her in some of the clubs, like Duvet and stuff, but she never mentioned,
Mhm.
yeah, Project Runway. I heard. But I heard, and it don't matter anyway. I heard online that if you, the fans told me that if you post that photo of her, she'll block you or like she'll do this whole thing. And so I've always been scared. And I posted again, and I think she still follows me or something. But I've always had like this like lingering thought that I'm gonna find a laser on my head or something if I post that photo of her.
So good, so good. Um, back to Drag Race. I would like to read to you. So there's this website and it's called Fandom, which you probably know.
I've heard
And
of it.
yeah, and so they do full biographical things on you queens. Like for any interview that ever comes out, they'll put all of the notes in here. But I would like to read you what they put about your time on the show.
Oh God, I love people's ideas. Let's go.
Acid Acid Betty is often involved in many conflicts and arguments, as shown in the episode Bitch Perfect, where she continuously argues with Chi Chi DeVane, which Thorgy Thor frequently points out. Betty is often seen stirring drama throughout her run on the show. For example, in the episode New Wave Queens, when Team Dragometry are conflicted in their decisions for the group, Acid suggests ideas which are a clear attempt to put them in the bottom. She came high in the first 3 challenges of the season and safe in the 4th episode. However, during Snatch Game, her impersonation of Nancy Grace fell flat and she had to lip sync for her life. She lost out to Naomi Smalls and was therefore eliminated in 8th place.
By the way, I was never safe. I was always on the top. Never safe. So that's a fact, incorrect thing. Incorrect fact. That's fun. I mean, yeah, that's how the TV show read. I don't know though about ideas for the new age thing. I don't even recall what ideas I made or if they were bad or I mean, all the things that were good, like the things like big fat beans and all those funny, those were my jokes. I
Yeah.
thought of them. So girl. But they didn't show that on TV because that wouldn't be good.
You know what? Probably RuPaul wrote this after you posted that video of her on your
For
Instagram.
real. Well, no way, because back in the day when it was being aired, the major rumor was that I was mud wrestling or something. No joke, with Michelle Visage.
Yes,
I'm not even
yes,
joking, right? That was like a
yes.
rumor. Or there was something about the color green, and like got, and the thing was, I got in a fight with
With
Michelle and it
Michelle,
was
yes.
physical. And just you tune in and find out when you see when Acid Betty and Michelle Visage fight.
It's still, I remember that. It was like a Reddit theory that
Oh
this
my
is what
god.
happened. And still to this day, people will always put that in like random comments. It'll be like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, what's coming up on season 15 of Drag Race? And they're like, Acid Betty comes back and she gets into a mud fight with
But
Michelle
Michelle,
Visage.
because she likes green, and Michelle was like, "No, green." It literally is about green. I remember it like has to do with the color green too. It's like, so me and Michelle actually have an inside thing about that. And there was even a moment where like she had some weird lipstick on, like whatever, and I texted her and I was like, "Green? Is that green lipstick?" And she- oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so good. The fan theories, the fan everything. And speaking of the fans, they did have questions for you, and the most
Oh.
common two were, as you probably know,
Uh-huh.
have you ever been asked for an All Stars, and would you ever do an All Stars?
I have been asked for All Stars, but not if I would be on it. I was asked if I was interested, and I said
Mm.
sure. Well, I was asked if I was interested in all of them and everything. They were just kind of like, "Hey, girl, can we keep you open?" But I don't know. I mean, I work on their Vegas live show. I do their visuals for that show, and I do the Werq the World, which is officially a RuPaul tour. So I don't know. It's like I feel like I'm in the family, even though the people don't see me on the front end. I'm there.
When you say visuals, what are you fully doing for both the Work the World and for Drag Race Live?
Okay, so like in Vegas, the entire stage is a LED screen.
Hmm.
So anything on the LED screen is my work.
That's so cool.
Right. So if you take the LED screen, you kind of have a boring show.
Hmm.
And what makes it exciting is my work. And that's the same for Werq the World. If you notice Werq the World, their LED screen in the back gets bigger and bigger and fiercer, and that's my work. Yeah. So I do all the visuals. Basically, I do like the, like lighting. I would say like lighting cues and set design, because that's in the TV. They do have a set and lights, but you know what I mean. But yeah, and then I do like the all the commercials and the teasers that you see on social media.
Hmm.
So logo design, all that stuff, all those things are me.
How did you get it? Like, how did you get that part? Like, did you have to submit an application, or were you just like one day, hey, what's up?
No, I mean that's what's funny is like I was saying, back when I was doing Acid Betty in New York City, Voss Events was doing parties. And every once in a while they would hire drag queens. And even though I wasn't working, I was working for Brandon Voss and some of the top promoters in New York. And so I was doing that. And then one of my queens friends was like, "Brandon, Betty knows how to do graphic design and she could help you do flyers." So I started doing his flyers. And then when they got, because this is back in the day, then they were like, "Ooh, there's TVs. Maybe we could put things on the TVs." So I started doing the TV stuff. And I started doing their commercials. And there was like Club XL Nightclub. Did that. I designed that logo. And then we just kind of progressed into the video, into the performances. And now I do all the performance videos, teasers, commercials.
Wow. Is there a preference? Do you prefer doing the drag aesthetic, or do you prefer doing the behind the scenes?
I love doing behind the scenes. I love it. I love, like, for my drag, I love like changing it up and trying to make my look different and whatever. It's so much easier to do that for another girl. So it's so much fun to kind of take on, like Plastique is so different than Evie, and there's like there's so many different girls that I do, and their aesthetics, their color, their style, everything is completely different. I just love being able to do that. And no one knows that it's me. I just love that.
That's yeah. I would have never have guessed. That is so freaking cool, and it's cool that you have both the in front of the camera, as you would say, and then the behind the camera. You kind of like get to dibble and dabble in both.
One thing about me is I absolutely do not enjoy cooking because I always feel like every dish that I try to make just turns into a disaster. And the only thing I can really make is scrambled eggs. But about 2 months ago, Dinnerly hit me up and they're like, why don't you try Dinnerly and see if your cooking level expands? And let me just tell you, I have never been more confident in the kitchen. Literally every single week I go onto the Dinnerly app, I choose my meals for the week, a box shows up to my door with fresh ingredients, and then I just open that Dinnerly app, I click the meal I want to cook for the night, the day, the lunch, the morning, and it's step by step the process and how to cook it. And you just swipe through each step, you cook your meal, and you are done in such a short period of time. I'm telling you, I'm making 20, 30-minute meals, and they are delicious. Let me tell you, it is absolutely yummy. The meals are healthy, they are fresh, and it's only $1.29 per portion. And if you want to try them out, which I totally think you should, you can save up to $142 off your first 4 boxes by using code Joseph A. Shepherd at dinnerly.com, or just easily click this link below in the description of this video. So try them out today, dinnerly.com, use code Joseph A. Shepherd when you are shopping, or just click this link right here below. Trust me, your cooking game will change.
So you were talking about before we started this interview that you are no longer in New York and you moved away into the mountains.
I did. I moved to the Poconos.
Oh. What has that experience been like? Because if you were in California and then you were overseas in the UK and then you're in New York, those are pretty big cities and pretty big, types of environment. Yeah. Is the Poconos completely different?
Yes. I've never been, I never really knew what small town drama and the feeling of neighbors. Mind you, the neighbors are really far away and they're still up in my business. And I never knew what that was like until I moved to the mountains with mountain people. But it's been so fantastic because I love the nature and I get so much inspiration from the animals and the flowers, and it's just so incredible. I bought a dog. I have a little husky. Her name is Lilith. Her birthday is today.
How old is she?
She's 1.
Is she still like a little smally? Like, is she still small?
Yeah, she's like this big. She's upstairs. I would bring you. Yeah. She's like a big 30 pounds. So she's so adorable. Big blue eyes, black and white.
Does she shed a lot?
Oh, yes. And I hate it. I had no idea. I literally just kind of like was just jumping, and I was like, originally I was thinking I don't want a dog that sheds, and I had certain ideas. And then once I decided I'm getting a dog, I forgot about all of it and just went with her. She was screaming, I got the dog that had the worst behavior. I got a dog that sheds.
Has she come to be like your best friend?
We're working on it. I call her my love bug.
you have your days.
Well, we're working on it because, she digs and she does things that I don't like. But no, she's fantastic. I love her. She's fabulous. I mean, I've never had a dog of my own, so it's a fabulous experience.
Well, you have a companion there. Are you dating in the Poconos? Is that a thing that you do?
No, there's a few actual gay camps just a few miles from here. But no, I haven't, and I don't. I mean, dating is kind of strange when you're a drag queen, and then it's strange when you're like a drag queen from TV.
I feel like that would be very difficult to navigate because I feel like it would either be people trying to use you or people just wanting to be able to say that. Like, you can't really trust. Do you find that?
Well, there's that kind of aspect because that's a good base way of thinking about it. But I think when you're inside the machine I think for me, when they say you can't trust somebody, the way I define it is when you are in a room and you all of a sudden have someone looking at you and they're giving you this energy of they're attracted to you because that's how you're reading it. They're like, oh, and that's how you receive it. And so you're like, oh, they're attracted to me, they like me. And then when you say hello and you interact with them, you only discover that they're actually only interested in the art, the TV show, the whatever, and that's fine. But it's hard from being on the inside from this side, to interact with people and to think, oh, maybe they're interested in me as a person. And in reality, they're kind of more interested in, where I've been, who I've done, where I'm going.
Oh, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. That would just be a very difficult thing. But
I mean, to be honest, it was a lot easier, especially with Project Runway, because Acid Betty looked one way, and no one really knew what I looked like, outside of drag. And then RuPaul's Drag Race happened, and their thing, is you are Acid Betty as a boy, as however you look, as a boy, as a girl, in every form, you're Acid Betty. And so that after that TV show, it's kind of like, it's mushed up the whole dating thing and everything, but it is what it is.
So you're basically saying no foreseeable significant other in the future until the dog ends up getting trained properly.
Oh no, the dog is trained. I actually was gonna call the dog Boyfriend, so I can tell everyone I was going home to Boyfriend.
Yes.
I gotta go feed my boyfriend, or my boyfriend's waiting. I haven't seen him all day, but I decided not to do that. No, I'm hoping with the dog, and maybe I'll go camping, and maybe, with this whole new everything, I'll get a man that likes the nature, and I've got so much to offer now.
Do you like the nature?
I love it.
Yeah. Are you a camper?
I've never really camped before.
Me.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, the only kind of camping I did was our dad would set up a tent out in front of the house.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if we'd sleep in it. You know what I mean? I think we slept in the tent once. Yeah. Oh my God, I went camping with my rabbi. That's probably why why I hate it.
You went camping with your rabbi?
Oh, I just remembered. Yes. In order for me to be confirmed as a Jew, one of our trips was to go camping, and we went camping with the freaking rabbi, Rabbi Posner. Ugh, mind you, he was. It's so horrible when you have leaders, and they're very stringent on what you need to follow. Follow this, do that. You can't do this, you can't do that. And then you discover a few years later, or whatever, that they were cheating on their wives and all these things. That happened to him, and it was just like, what? Life lessons,
Oh, life lessons. I had the same thing when I was in, I think it was middle school. I went to a private school, and the pastor was he was so involved in everything and telling you what to do. And then he ended up having an affair with somebody on the choir, and it just became this big thing. But it was in those moments you're like, oh, you can't even handle yourself. So what are you trying to tell other people?
Right, you're completely out of control too. Yeah. Yeah, so that's probably why I haven't gone camping, is because it was with the rabbi last time. Thanks for reminding me.
Anytime. Anytime. And you said out of control, so I do got to ask you about one little last moment from Drag Race that was out of control, is when there was the whole lovely Trixie Mattel controversy from her calling you out about you calling her out and how her makeup looked and untied. Do you still get people talking about this to you?
Yes.
Do you feel it was warranted? Were you just making joke in the situation? What was the tea behind it?
Oh yeah, no, I was totally making a joke. I mean, even if you look at the editing, it literally is edited like Kimchi and Trixie are lovers.
Yes.
The music is like and Kimchi's it was so dramatic the way that was edited, and it was like, oh my God, they're hardly even friends. Come on, get with it. No, it was totally, honestly, it was just me cracking jokes, and everyone just wanted, it was set off the way it was. But it was actually a great experience because, I was on tour in a bus with Trixie when all that was going down. So it wasn't like, it was, the whole experience was so dramatic because how the fans and everybody interacted with it, and even today, how people perceive what happened is so interesting and bizarro land compared to reality.
Yeah.
How ironic for it to be reality TV. Yeah. But yeah, people still talk about it. And quite honestly, Trixie and probably myself, because I don't want to share information, probably made a lot of money off of that moment.
I mean, I would hope so. And
Oh, yeah.
I do like that you said that, people kind of get one perception of, seeing something on TV, and then for years on, they're still going to think the same thing when they rewatch or they redo. And how have fans been, especially to your edit on the show, and then who you are as your drag persona? Have you seen, has it been more negative, more positive? Have the years gone by and it's been on the up? Or like, how does your edit influence your drag career?
I'm not really totally sure because, there's such a large audience that watch the show, so you get lots of point of views. Okay, there's the people who absolutely believe the story. They'll believe Thorgy. Whatever Thorgy says, work it out. And then there are people who can watch TV or anything and kind of sniff out what's happening or something's missing. And so I got a lot of that. So I got a lot of smart fans who maybe play dumb, but they're not as dumb as they actually are because they all are kind of like, something's not right. Even just recently, I read why did they push Betty's edit like something horrible was going to happen and then they never showed it. Nothing ever happened and all these things. And I was like, right. It's just to push drama. How did it affect my drag career? I don't like, it's so weird because it's just part of the story.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. Like I've been doing drag for 20 years. So my whole life is not this TV show, so I'm different than some of these queens. So this is just a part of the story. So I had a life, I have a career, had a career. And so when this hit, and then it was the first time that I got to experience again, like let's say I say going to summer camp and everyone else being told a total different story. And me being like, okay, well, my experience was this. This was the fun, and I loved it and what I did. And the whole world can see this weird, like, version, like, of me and Chi-Chi fighting and all this craziness, and let them be. I mean, when we were fighting, literally the first thing she called me was like, girl, we're fighting? Question mark on TV? I'm like, yeah. That was literally the week we became best friends. So it's kind of a weird, TV is so weird.
Yeah, it's beyond weird. I want to talk to you about your aesthetic, your makeup, what drives you. I was looking, which we were about to talk about, your BioShimmers and everything, but I was watching the video of you doing your makeup for the BioShimmers. And when you were doing your airbrushing and everything, I was actually like very, very impressed because I've never seen somebody like actually take the airbrusher like to their head.
Face.
Yeah. I've always like seen it like, on TV shows where somebody else is doing it to somebody else, never like an own individual person doing it to themselves. Where does your inspiration come from? Because your looks and your makeup and everything is always so out of this world. Do you have like sketches and plans, or you just kind of play and dibble and dabble?
Yes, both. Yeah. Yeah. I find if I plan it out, it is more extreme. My more extreme looks are usually planned out. Like this was just dibbling and dabbling when I'm on my face. But I try to, like with any artist, you kind of have to just trust yourself and maybe go with an idea and let the hand and the materials call to you because mistakes happen or lovely mistakes happen and you just go with them. But really, I guess where my inspiration comes from is everywhere. Obviously, sci-fi movies, and I watch, a few makeup people. And as we talked earlier, I'm a graphic designer, so I find that the electric plugins and filters that I use in my daily use of making visuals for a show, for like these for the live tours, I feel like I try to do in my makeup. I often even times will make a mistake, and in my head will be like Control Z, like undo, undo, and I can't undo it. Like literally, there'll be a point of like copy paste. No, wait, I can't copy paste in this world. I have to physically do it. But yeah, I try. I get a lot of inspiration, I think, from technology. I hope to incorporate more technology and nature. I try to do both. It's this weird love-hate thing. Yeah.
Well, now you have the inspiration of the mountains, and your previous rabbi and everybody coming through through you now.
Ghosts.
So let's talk about this new venture that you
Okay.
just got into. You deleted your whole social media and you restarted your whole social media basically, but your BioShimmers. So let's
Yes.
open this up. How did this even come to be?
Well, I have my cosmetic company, which is called Unicorn Skin Cosmetics. This is my fifth year anniversary. And we basically focus on some, things that are good for the environment and not necessarily, just, ooh, makeup, here, buy it. So right now we have a whole line of biodegradable glitters and biodegradable glitter paste and gels. And we just recently released BioShimmers, which is currently 18 colors, different colors, shades, and sizes of biodegradable glitter, and like color shade shifting colors and iridescent colors, and I have more coming already. So yeah.
That's so awesome. I think that like I am addicted to glitters. Like if I go out any type of like random party or anything, I'm always like doing glitters on the eyes because that's the only thing I can do. When it comes down to makeup, no. You just put something pretty around your eyes and I'm good and set to
Oh
go.
no, it really, like, what people don't realize, it really will make everything look better. Even if your makeup is messy, if you just throw glitter on it, people will be like, that's what, girl, that is what I do. That is like an old trick. Make a mistake, throw like glitter over it, and people will think it's just this like magical thing. Yeah. And what's great about this though is that it's also like 40 to 100% softer, so it doesn't actually scratch your skin, and it won't scratch your cornea, if it gets in your eyes.
But okay, so when it comes down to colors and comes down to shimmers and it comes down to all of this, how are you picking and doing? Like, how is a lab or how does this even work out?
Well, in regard to the biodegradable shimmers and colors, technology, we're not totally there yet. So I couldn't choose every color that I wanted. I mean, I love color. So if I could have done UV, like, like black light
Yeah.
reactive, and there are things that I really want to dive and jump into, but they're not environmentally friendly, and they're also just not, we're not there yet. So basically, I found there's two companies that make certified biodegradable glitter, and I basically extorted every color that they make. And iridescence and holographic biodegradable glitter is actually now. It's current. It's new. It never existed before. And I was one of the first companies that was doing biodegradable iridescent glitter, and now it's like they're pushing it. And I'm like, girl, this is my fifth year I've been doing this. But it's new. It's a whole new technology, the iridescent and holographic biodegradable glitter.
It just looks so cool. And also, like, your box that you had, like, did you come up with the
Oh,
design
yeah.
for the box?
I did. I have it here. I have it. Let me get it.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. It just so happens. It just so happens because I'm in the studio.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Like, I should be wearing my nail gloves. How embarrassing, my man hands. Let me show you my dude. Oh, look! She is ready. Oh, it's almost
Oh,
life
there's your
size.
face. Wow. It is almost life size.
Almost is. But yeah, see?
So dope.
Yeah, so I designed everything. The box. I mean, I also take the photos and Photoshop the photos. I designed the layout. I talked to the person to make the box. I talked to people to make the jars. I'm very involved, if not completely involved. And look at the little nature. Do you see like I have like a little
Oh
butterfly?
yeah.
So there's like little nuances of my love for nature in everything I do.
And what's the O? The bio. Like what's the O?
Oh yeah, a little flower.
Yeah. That's so cute.
I should.
When you're crafting all of this and you're coming up with the full concept, what is your personality like if somebody doesn't receive it well? Do you take do you take your art as something like are you very very protective of your art, or do you find like if somebody's negative that you kind of accept the criticism?
Oh, I listen to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I definitely have an opinion about things. And it depends on what the art is. You know what I mean? Like if the art is completely for me, made by me, and I did it, totally for my soul, then maybe I would get offended by it. But at that point, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's totally for me, and I really don't care because I am like that secure in my art. Like this is me,
That's
whatever, it's
awesome.
me. And but when I do art for like I have found, and they have told me when I did stuff for like when I do stuff for RuPaul's Drag Race and all that, then I'm pretty good. I'll take the critique and just okay, because it's not me. It's not I'm not on stage. I mean honestly, that's why I always tell them it's not me on stage. It's you. It's another queen. If that's what you want, you get it. Like none of my business. Like I still get paid when I get paid. So I don't take it very personally.
I love that. I love that you said if it's for you, it's for you. That's
Yeah.
that resonates and that rings a bell with me. I
Do
love
you
it.
know how many people think I'm ugly and crazy and strange, and I would completely agree with them? But I don't fucking care, dude. Like I really don't care, dude, because it has nothing to do with them. Like I didn't do this for this person that I don't know about. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But now they're coming at me because they don't like me. I don't care.
So where can everybody purchase and buy these?
Oh yeah,
BioShimmers.
so bioshimmers.com or unicornskincosmetics.com or my website, acidbetty.com. I think that's it. Houseofacid.com.
Well, wait, what was the other one that became a porn site?
Oh, JuzFuck, JUZFUK.com. Just fuck. No war, just fuck.
So, Acid, as we're wrapping this out, I do have like my compulsory type questions that I ask every queen that I
Okay.
have on. I would love to know from you, what is the biggest misconception of Acid Betty?
I don't know because I don't know because I love it if people don't like me and they think I'm a bitch or all that. Like I'm cool with that.
Do you think
Oh my
you're a
god,
bitch?
the character is. That's what I'm saying. If you're real smart, then you would know that there is the little softy mofty up in here who loves everybody and gives and gives and gives and all these things. But if you're not, then just take me as the rancid, hateful cunt bitch that you think I am, and go with that.
Love it. Love it. So Barbara Walters during interviews would sometimes ask people, if they were a tree, what tree would there be? Would they be? However, I like to word this question as, if you were a sandwich, what sandwich would you be?
What sandwich would I be? I would be, I don't even know if it exists, an impossible meatball sandwich.
You know what? That actually sounds pretty good.
Hmm. I'm not really like a meatball fan, but I was just thinking, it's not real meat,
Yes.
but impossible meat is real good. So it
Mm-hmm.
gives you that feeling of like, oh yeah, I just ate a dead animal, but you didn't. You know what I mean? And with the sauce, bread, I think that's what I would be. I would be an impossible meatball sandwich.
An impossible meatball sandwich. Love it.
I
Love
can't
it.
believe this isn't me.
Since this show is called Exposed, I always ask the queens to expose something that happened during your time on Drag Race that didn't make it to camera that you wish would have.
Something. Okay. No. Oh my god! I should have watched your show so I knew some of your crazy questions. Oh my god, they're good. Oh, I should have think this through because I could give a good one if I really think it through. Something that was unusual near him was some. When Deborah Harry came back and asked me what I was doing on the show and why I was there, because I know them. And that was fun because they were all so mean to me and they were like, shh, quiet, Betty. And they came back and they were like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, hi, what are you doing here? Am I allowed to speak? Such a gag.
My last question for you, Acid, is what's coming down the pipeline for you this year? Is there anything else people can be on the lookout for?
More Unicorn Skin Cosmetics. I am expanding. I am celebrating my 5-year celebration with more. And you might see me in stores. That's why I've been busy.
Ooh.
I know I'm doing it this year. And that's it. I don't know. I've been threatening to go on tour myself and putting something together. I'm helping Latrice Royale right now with her tour.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm busy, helping other girls with their shows. I was just thinking, maybe I should get mine going. There's a few projects I'm working on. It's so much. Just go to my website and find out. I could rant on all these things that I'm working on this year, but yeah, there is things coming.
just go to one of Acid Betty's 972 websites.
Yes, they all go to the same place. Hell.
Well, thank you so much, Acid Betty, for being here and chatting with me. Where can everybody find you on the social media?
Why are you doing it like that?
Because I was thinking and I was like, we literally have plugged every website in the world, and now it's...
Why do we need to? The minute you said that, I was thinking that too. I'm like, is this another joke? Hey, one more time. Go through your list of 12 websites. Well, I only have 4 social media accounts. No, just kidding. It's just Acid Betty. Acid Betty.
Or as Cynthia Lee Fontaine says, Acid Betty.
Which is actually a BioShimmer. It's actually a BioShimmer in here.
You made one Acid Berry?
Yeah, let me see. Where is it? Can you see? Wait. Can you wait? Oh, wait. Here, you can read this better.
Yes. Well, guys, I'm Joseph Shepard. That's Acid Berry Betty. And we will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.